all, in this video, we will see how to design a buck converter, especially understanding the working principle of buck converter and then simulating the same in LTSpice. So, first of all, we will look at the circuit of buck converter. So, buck converter is nothing but a regulator which helps uh, down convert the voltage from a given voltage. For example, if we give 12 volts, we can get 9 volts or 6 volts or whatever the desired voltage using the buck converter. So buck converter actually comprises few elements which are very critical to its operation. And the first element is a switch here. Switch, this is nothing but a switching element which actually works on PWM input to its for its on for control, and then this switch, right, can be a simple MOSFET to the gate of which we provide this PWM control. Okay, and then we have a diode here which is basically called a freewheeling diode. Okay, so this diode is particularly called a freewheeling diode. We will see why this diode is required, and then we have a LC circuit. Okay, a inductor and then C in parallel, and then load is connected. This is a simple circuit which comprises a buck converter. Now, how does this operate? This is simply explained by the circuits in the Wikipedia, which you can access actually. You can see here, switch is meant to be in on and off state, right? We know that it can be on or it can be off. Now, in the below circuit, as we have seen here, let us assume a scenario when the switch is on. Okay, that means this particular circuit, the first circuit. Okay, when the switch is on, what happens? The voltage that is provided passes through this and it charges this particular inductor, and the current passes through the load, also further changing the inductor, right? So the voltage gets developed basically at this output node. Now in that case, see, this particular line is a ground potential which is 0 volts, and you have a voltage here. That means this particular diode is off. So when the switch is on, the inductor charges and correspondingly the output voltage gets developed, and this output voltage gets developed as per our requirement. So that's how you design your circuit. Let us assume a scenario when the switch is in off state. This is the second scenario. Okay. Now, in this case, switch is in off state, which meant you don't have the input voltage connected. In this case, what happens is the inductor which is charged, right, provides the current to the load, thereby the current passing through this loop. Okay, and you can see this diode will be turned on in this case because you have a voltage developed here, and this diode will turn on and the current flows in loop. Okay, in this case again the output voltage on this node will be held by the energy that is stored in the inductor. So two scenarios here, one is switch on condition, switch off condition. So switch on and switch off condition, on how much time you have to turn on and how much time you want to turn off, depends on the control that we apply here. So that is where we apply a PWM signal. It could be a 50% based on requirement, or if you want a lower voltage to be developed, you give the PWM value, and if you want to want a higher voltage, you give a higher PWM. That means you turn on for a longer time. So if you scroll down, okay, we can see here the waveforms, which basically explains the input versus output voltage based on the switch state. Now you can see when the switch is turned on, that means this particular case, Okay, you can see the current flowing through because the there is more current that is being drawn because the inductor is charging, and at the same time it is providing we are getting the output voltage developed. So you can see when output voltage reaches a particular extent, and by the time it reaches Imax, what we are doing is we are turning off the um, MOSFET. That means the switch. So when you turn off, the inductor provides the current. That means there is a drop in the current, and this drop is such a way that we turn on the MOSFET by the time this reaches I minimum. That means across the inductor, if you probe the current, you see that there will be a ripple that is present. Now when you turn on again, the inductor charges again. So again you turn off in such a way that the inductor starts providing the output current. So you see that there is a ripple on the inductor. And correspondingly, you can also see when it is turned on, when VI is high, you get the V naught. Okay, and there is V naught which is being developed, and the average value that you see here is the output voltage. Okay, as simple as that. The working functionality of the buck converter is very easy to understand. Now let us try to see in simulation how to simulate the buck converter circuit in LTSpice. So this is a circuit which is being built in LTSpice. So everyone knows how to build using components, right? So in the interest of time, we have just built it before itself. So now what we are doing is we are providing a input voltage of 24 volts, and as seen in this explained in the tutorial before, this is a MOSFET. We have a n channel MOSFET, and then we have a pulse that is being applied. So you can see here the pulse characteristics. um, the initial voltage is 0, V1 is 24, we have a delay of 1 nanosecond and rise time of 1 nanosecond. So fall time, if you want, you can keep, and we have a time period of 5 microseconds. So what does this indicate? This basically is the switching frequency of the inductor. Now for a beginners, so always they tend to struggle with mathematics, right? 5 is nothing but 10x to the power of 5 is 6. Okay, which is 0.005, and then you can see this is nothing but 200 kilohertz. So 5 microseconds is nothing but 200 kilohertz, and the t on period is 100 kilohertz, which is exactly half. That means we are using 50% duty cycle. So that means it is almost expected that the output voltage will be half of the input voltage. So this is simply determining, right? Now that is how we are going to switch. So this base resistor is specifically to control the rise time and ultimately the turn on time and turn off time of the MOSFET. So this is depending on the MOSFET that you are using and the switching characteristics of the source that you have connected. So this is based on your design. Okay, and then as we said, a freewheeling diode. So how do we select this freewheeling diode? So let us click on this diode and you see the characteristics. This is basically a Schottky diode. Schottky diode is used here because that is the lowest forward voltage drop that we have. So in the previous scenario, when we have seen the, when we understood the buck converter circuit, we have seen that when the switch is in off condition, the diode turns on, right? In the turn on condition, we must have as low voltage drop as possible such that there are very less losses associated, and also the series resistance that is associated with this diode must be lesser, and it should be able to accommodate the voltage and the current, which is very important. Okay, and also if there are any surges that are coming up, this diode must be able to handle. So if we see the diode characteristics and the spice model of it, the series resistance is around 0.01 ohms, okay, which is good, right? So we can select other diodes as well based on your requirement, but ensure that the series resistance and the current and the voltage characteristics are met, which is a straightforward decision for a diode, okay. And then very very important point in the design of buck converter, selecting the L and the C components. So this is very important. So we explained in the design of buck converter that you have to the when the switch is in on condition, the inductor charges, right, and then the output gets developed. So in this case, the charging of the inductor, okay, and when you have the switch in off condition, the inductor discharging is very very important. So the current that is flowing through the inductor and the actual voltage that is being developed on the output are a very very critical scenarios. So these actually play a major factor in selecting the inductor and the capacitor. And again, this is in line basically with the switching frequency of the buck converter. The switching frequency, as we have seen, is the frequency at which we are switching the MOSFET. So the MOSFET switching should be in line that the inductor and capacitor are sufficient enough to handle the output voltage. So these, if you see any buck converter data sheet, there are specific calculations on the on determining the inductor based on the rate of variation of current and then the output voltage and the switching frequency. So all these characters to determine the inductor value and the capacitor value here. So very very important. And then to this we just connected a load. Now let us try to simulate this, okay. So when we simulate this, okay, the first and foremost thing that we do is we simulate in a transient analysis. So we don't want to do AC analysis or the DC sweep analysis. We just want to see how the initial conditions are, and then in the steady state how the signal has settled down. Now, if you see here, we have kept a stop time of 5 milliseconds. So this must be enough for the signal to settle down and give a fixed output voltage. If you give more than this also, you see the simulation running for a long time. So selecting the transient analysis stop time is one of the very important point. Now we selected 5 milliseconds. Let us try to run this, okay. And when you probe, you can see here the output voltage has jumped up, but you can see it has almost settled at 12 volts. Now when you probe the inductor current, okay, you can see that the inductor current is varying between 200 minus 200 to 200. So there is a variation of inductor current here. This is basically the ripple as we talked. And also we can measure the voltage here. So you can, if you measure the voltage here, you can see this basically is nothing but a switching frequency which is almost equivalent to the input that we are giving here. So what it means is you can also see with the switching, when the MOSFET is turned on, you can see the inductor switching here, and then when the MOSFET is turned off, the inductor providing current to the load, and again when the MOSFET is turned on. So this particular cycles are enabling the output voltage of 12 volts to be developed. So now if you want the higher voltage or the lower voltage, you vary the parameters accordingly. So this is how a buck converter works in its operation. So we can actually probe the actual switching frequency that is coming here. You can see this is the actual pulse that is coming out, and you expect the source side to be almost the same as the base signal that you give. So you can see here. So this is how we design a simple buck converter. Now, in practical, when we are designing this buck converter, we do take the tolerances of the components, the series resistances that we have talked, and especially the availability of the components, and then design them. So in one of the videos, we will take an actual buck converter IC and see how we are going to design the circuit around it. So the circuit comprises definitely the freewheeling diode, and then the inductor and the capacitor. Hope this video helps you. Please post if you have any questions. Please let us know your thoughts on this video. Thank you.